And we're live.
And we're live.
Hey everybody, welcome to the August edition of Digital is Doable. We're missing our own Kim Todd, this month. Kim's in St. John's and I'm out here on the beautiful west coast of the island. But I've got a great guest with me today, Ryan Crocker from Mantle Board Shoppe out here in beautiful Woody Point in Grossmoor National Park. And Ryan's going to talk to us a little bit today about content creation. So just before we get started, remind you, if you don't follow us already, we're Digital is Doable is our Facebook group with Guide to the Good. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and of course you can follow us at www.guidetothegood.ca. So as I said, we're here to talk about content creation today, tell you a little bit about why content creation is so important, why you've got to have great content, and we're going to give you some tips on how to create some great content. But first, I want to introduce our guest again, Ryan Crocker. Like I said, he runs Mantle Board Shoppe here in Woody Point. And Ryan, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So like you said, I run Mantle Board Shoppe, which is a split board and snowboard shop located in the heart of Grossmoor National Park. We're located right in Woody Point. And we take people into backcountry skiing and snowboarding and do snowmobile tours during the winter time. We also have split boards and snowboards and backcountry touring equipment available to rent for people. So people can come out and they can try before they buy sort of scenario and get their feet wet in backcountry touring.
Awesome. And Ryan, you create quite a bit of content. Anybody that may be watching that does follow you will know all winter long they're seeing some beautiful content from out here in Grossmoor National Park. And how has putting out all that great content affected your business?
Yeah, so basically being located where I'm to, the internet has kind of created a level playing field for me in terms of being able to reach people. Back in the day, maybe 20 years ago or so, I wouldn't be able to reach my target audience the way that I'm able to now. But with social media and content creation, it's leveled the playing field for me, and I'm able to reach my customers where they live through social media apps.
It's a great point. Previous to the internet, you'd have to take good expensive ads in, major newspapers and magazines and on television to reach those people. And now you can get on and, reach those people very cheaply and oftentimes free, other than the cost of creating content itself. So obviously it's an important tool, a great way to connect with your viewers and with your potential customers. And, it's really important to always have in the back of your mind that you want to be thinking about what kind of content you want to create. So Ryan, when we're out and about and we're thinking about what content we're creating, what kind of equipment are we going to need to get our content captured?
Nowadays, with the advent of cell phone technology, it's amazing what you're able to capture with just a cell phone now. A lot of the top-end brands now, the top 2 or 3 phones on the market, all capture 4K quality video. You can do some amazing content creation and editing all within the cell phones that are available. So like myself personally, I just use a cell phone and I have a couple GoPro cameras that we use for action shots and stuff, and I have a drone for just like overall wider angle shots and chase cams and things like that. But to get started, and depending on what you're doing, you can create a lot of content with just a cell phone, that in itself, and the apps that are available on cell phones to edit videos. That is a great tool itself just to get started with.
Sure, and that leads us into my next question was, is there any special software that you need to use to create great content?
There's a lot of great ones out there. Myself, I use Canva and CapCut mostly. Those are the 2 that I spend most of my time with. I'm a little bit older, so I started with Windows Media Player way back in the Windows Movie Maker. Yeah, that's what it was, way back in the day, and that's kind of obsolete now. And with the new programs that are available now, even just like I said, on your cell phone, the editing that you're able to do now 10, 15 years ago would have required a professional media suite and an extremely powerful computer in order to do the editing that's available now in some of these new apps.
Absolutely. And Ryan, if you had any tips for our viewers out there on what types of content they should be creating, what would you tell them about that?
I know for myself personally, it's about showing people what you have to offer them. So for me, it's really about just getting out there and creating content. If you're just new to creating digital content, I would recommend just going out and just start making videos. Go out and just start making videos every day. Kind of get into the habit of doing it when you see something that even the simplest thing that you see that might be considered cool content for what you're trying to sell. Just pull out your phone, snap some cool pics of it, try to get some different angles, some video, and like I said, and then you just go into the editing software and you can do some interesting things with them. But like the main thing about it is to just start creating content. You gotta really get your feet under you and kind of just do it and work and progress at it. I heard a lot of guys say, go out and make 100 videos. By the time you get to your 100th video, if each video you try and do something a little different and a little better each time, and you go back and critique your own work, by the time you get to the 100th video, your videos are going to start to look pretty good for what you're trying to get across to your customers.
No, I think that's a great point. And just one of the stats I picked up doing my research for this episode was that over 50% of people don't feel comfortable with their content creation. So I know we've got a lot of great members with Guide to the Good that are creating some great content, but there's some that probably could use a little bit of a push to get out there and start creating more. So I think that's some great advice, to just get out there and create the content and try different kinds of content and see what resonates with your audience. If it's really nice pictures that you're taking, maybe some video reels that you've taken on your phone, and use some of these simple editing programs to kind of finesse a little bit and see what works best for your audience, what people are engaging with, and what causes them to click on your content and go to the next part. So, all right, so great. So a couple of the things that I want to...
I just wanted to say, another little part about that too would be consistency. When you create content, when you decide that you're going to start pushing content, it's a good idea to be consistent with your posts. That's where scheduling can come in and really help you out. Take a day or so, during the month, and schedule out a bunch of things that you want to post up, because it can be real time consuming, working at that all the time. So like I said, I just wanted to mention that about, I think the scheduling would be a good idea, and to help keep your content consistent, because the algorithms work, and it's just a matter of putting yourself in place and getting there. If you want to make a video that 10,000 people will see, then you kind of create that, you know what I mean? You look at it, it's like, if I wanted 10,000 people to watch my video, well then I got to make a video that I think 10,000 people would watch. So you got to go through the steps on what would create that. And the key to getting to that point is consistency, being consistent and getting into the algorithm and getting the algorithm to work for you.
No, I think that's a great point, and being consistent with both your messaging and your timing, which are both equally as important, which is a great segue into one of the last things I want to talk about today, which is creating a content plan. So it's great to kind of go into the beginning of the month or the beginning of a quarter, and even just get a piece of paper and start to jot down some ideas, and then transfer that maybe into a document on your computer. I use a spreadsheet. I start out with a bunch of different themes that I want to cover. I might look at some different holidays that are coming up that I might want to feature in my content, things to give me some ideas. And I start thinking about different messages that I want to pass along to my audience. And I use that to create a content plan, so that when I'm actually out with my phone, if I see something that fits my content plan, I can snap a picture, or I can get a little video clip or something like that. And I can use that to work into my content plan. So it's a great idea to kind of get yourself thinking about what kind of content that you want to create, and then using it as a helpful tool to kind of drive you to actually get out there and create that content.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I think that covers a lot of the basics. Is there anything else that you really want to add, or one thing that you really want to drive home and solidify from what we've talked about today?
Yeah, just kind of to reiterate what you were just saying, when you get to the point where, okay, like I'm making content and things are going good, like he said, and that's kind of something that I implement myself. I have a list of shots that I want to get in my mind, and I've got it all written down, and it's like, these are the the shots that I'm looking for on a continual basis. And it gets to a point where they kind of start to be consistent, and you're kind of looking for the same kind of things, just from different angles and sort of things like that. So, like I say, you get to the point where you have your list and you're out about, and all of a sudden you see something, you're like, okay, that's kind of what I'm going to go chase down. So, like I say, having that list of these are the shots that I want to get from my content is really going to help you once you get going with it. That way you're not just taking random shots all the time. You're shooting exactly what you're trying to get.
Excellent. Well, Ryan, I want to thank you so much for joining me today for this episode of Digital is Doable. I'll remind you guys that we'll be back on, I think, the second Wednesday of September. I think it's September 6th, but we'll add an event for that on Facebook when I know for sure. Kim will hopefully be back with us then as well. This episode should be up on YouTube next week, so for anybody that missed the beginning or anything like that and wanted to see the full thing, we will have it available. And of course, you'll always want to visit the Digital is Doable section on our website at guidetothegood.ca. And if there's any questions that you have of something that we didn't cover or that you want a more clarification on here today, you can always email me at ryan@guidetothegood.ca. I'm going to be on vacation for the next week, but I will be checking emails periodically, so feel free to send those off, and I'll get back to you when I can. And as always, you want to follow us, Guide to the Good, on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much. Thanks again, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.